me to the book of Genesis chapter 12. Genesis chapter 12. Speak to me from verse 10.
And there was a famine in the land, and Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there, for the famine was grievous in the land.
Listen, the famine was grievous. The Lord has asked Abram to leave the father's house and everything he has gotten in that village to a place. Abram woke up from that dream and called upon the wife of his youth, who was able to obey his voice, and they set out. He has a little child, the nephew, the brother's son. And when he got to a place according to God's word and pitched his tent to rest, as the voice of God has asked him to leave his father's house, the nation, there came a famine that should have made him speak against God. There came a situation that the Lord did not inform him that will come up. There came a pain that is unforeseen. There came a situation that is not what he bargained for. Tell yourself something. What will you have done? You will have that opportunity to speak. Curse God to his face. He never cursed God to his face. There may be a sickness in you that you never bargained for. There may be a difficult time. There may be a pain. There may be a humiliation. Who knows what you're passing through? When the Lord troubled me to return back to Celestial Fold, I refused. For 12-15 years, he raked me down to nothing. He was making a promise. He said, return and I will give unto you all that I have taken, and I will make you greater. And when I came, finally, when I came, things become worse than ever before. 6 months, I begin to beg for food more than I was begging when I have not come. 1 year, I can't even see anybody to beg from again. At the accomplishment of 1 year, I look up. I looked up at the accomplishment of 1 year. I've done everything, visually everything he asked me to do. But the situation was worse. I've gone for anointment. I've registered as a shepherd. I've done everything. I've learned one thing ever before then, that when I move, I have moved. No looking back. That's one thing I learned in the Pentecostal ministry when I was coming up. When I move, whatever you're talking is rubbish. Whatever I see, I jump. It's either I scatter the thing or the thing scatter me. That's my way. So when I see that things has gotten worse, I laughed. I moved. Then insults begin to come. The more things get difficult, the more I think, the more I tell myself my services is not enough. That's why. That's just my conclusion. Then the more I think of how to double the services I'm giving to him. So I thought it wise on how to double the service. Listen to me. When God called Abram to leave his father's house, he never told him that there would be a famine. A great famine came. And Abram thought it wise to go search for food. Only God God knows how many days he walked from where he is to locate Egypt. Only God knows what it takes him to discover that there was food in Egypt. And when he was approaching Egypt, how did he got to know that the Egyptians like to take what does not belong to them? And he told his beautiful wife, they will take you and kill me because of you. Tell them that you are my sister, I am your brother, so that I can leave. As soon as they entered the gate, so be it, they sighted the woman and rushed after her. And Pharaoh the king, which is the governor of the land, was interested in her, took her. And why he said Abraham was the brother, they gave Abraham a wonderful portion. They gave him a place to live and allowed him to farm. And allow him to farm. And it was not one day that Sarai lived with the king. It was not 1 week. It was not 1 month. It was not 6 months. It was not 1 year. For Abraham in that land grew and began to become successful, which means it was not 1 year. But the Lord made it possible. But in this number of years, he took away from Pharaoh the desire of lying with that woman and gave him the thought of keeping her reserved. Think about this. The Lord did it. Let me make a statement here. It is important for us to have an understanding that all we have is in God's hands. Let me make this statement again. It is important for us that call ourselves sons and daughters of God to have an understanding that all we have is in God's hands. Let me make that thing known again. It is important for you that worships God. It is important for you to whatsoever you worship to know that all you have is in his hands. I am no longer talking about worshiping God. I am talking about whatever you worship. It is important for you to know that all you have is in the hands of whatever you worship. But to us that worship the living Father, to us that are sons and daughters of God, viewers all over the world, hear me. It is important for you to have an understanding that all you have is in God's hands. Now let me tell you, this understanding is a height of commitment in the sight of God. Listen, this understanding, if it is in you, it is a height of commitment in the sight of God. God may make promises, but it takes commitment of a man for manifestation of God's promises to come true. God may make promises, but it takes your commitment for manifestation of his promises to come true. Having an understanding that all you have is in his hands is a height of commitment. I am talking to you today in few seconds about a topic: commitment. Everybody say commitment. Commitment. I can't hear the voice of the church. Weak voice. Commitment.
Commitment.
When I talk about commitment, I am talking about your involvement in what you do. In a business, What is your involvement in that business determines your share of that business. Am I talking to God's people? Listen, your services to God or your relationship with God without commitment is in vain. Manifestation of his promises will not come quick or may not come at all. Prophets and prophetess might be telling you how great you are. The greatness you will never see. It takes a height of commitment from you. Your involvement in your relationship. The height of your involvement. Now, having an understanding that all you have is in the hands of your God to protect, in his hands to defend, in his hand to promote, in his hands to make it become. Having that understanding is a height of commitment before him. He cherishes it so much, in the sense that if your wife is about to lose and her characters are changing, instead of crying, go call on him secretly without disgracing the wife first. If your husband is changing, call on him first without disgracing your husband. If your son is misbehaving or your daughter is misbehaving, oh come on, the first step, first thing first matters. Cry to him. After advising that child gently, leave the rest and cry to him. He will thunder from heaven, except he has died. A lot of mistakes are going on concerning your business, concerning your expectation, your mama. You speak unspeakable words before you begin to call him. You are calling in vain. The understanding that all you have is in the hands of your God to protect is a height of commitment. It's a height involvement. He cherishes it more than your 1 billion. That you have trust in him to protect what you have. That same understanding is the understanding that will make you go extra mile. Extra mile in handing over your son, your daughter, your husband to him. It will make you go extra mile in doing things for God. Listen, before you donate generously in the church, listen, when I say generously, not because you have much, generously in the sense that you have 2 million and you gave God 1.5. Oh come on, you're not listening. You gave 1.5 and leave only 5 for yourself. You gave 1.7 out for God's work and leave only 2, not minding when will I make it up again. Generously. That's what I mean by generously. It's not easy. Those that can give in that manner are those that has an understanding that all that they have is in the hands of their God. Am I talking to you? Without that understanding, remember I told you before today that the moment God see the sign of faith in you, he doesn't need that faith, but he has already considered you as a man or woman of faith. Let me tell you something. That understanding means that you are ready to go extra mile. Then he can open your eyes to extra mile. Let me tell you something. The just concluded crusade can no man do except he has an understanding that all he or she has is in God's hands. What am I going to keep? Why not release everything to achieve a target for him? Because all I have is in his hands. He can destroy them and throw them to the ashes. All I have is in his hands. It was in that same understanding that he took my wife and called me, because he knows I will listen, and say, hands off. I know you know what to do and have given you power on this, but hang back off. Then I hanged off. Because all I have, because that understanding is in me, that all I have is in his hands to protect. He always tell me what to do and how to fight. And this is important. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Be careful on how you hate and how you behave. Let me tell you something. There is a lot you need to learn. There is a lot you need to know to make him proud. And he will create opportunity for you to excel in life. How much is your commitment? Because except there is a commitment in your relationship with him, the manifestation to his promises in your life will delay. What are your involvements? And there will be no reasonable involvement. There will be no reasonable involvement from you, except there is an understanding in you that all that you have is in his hands to protect. When that understanding is in you, when you want to do something, you will not look back. And when I say all you have, including you, is in his hands to protect. Including you is in his hand to make reasonable. Including you. When you are passing through difficulty, when there is no food, when your business has gone down, when there is no hope, he is not listening to you, not answering you, because you lack an understanding that all you have is in his hands to protect. And the more you begin to think about those that are killing you, they are just people that are being used as an instrument to close your doors. They are not the people you should think of. You should think of your relationship with your God. You should think of your relationship with your God. There is a lot you need to learn. There is also a lot you need to know. I never told you that there is no evil in the land. Hello, God's people. Why I am talking to you about commitment? It's because it takes commitment. I say it takes commitment for manifestation of the promises of God to come through. And before the manifestation comes through, commitment opens one's eyes to secret of secrets. It opens one's eyes to secret of secrets. He will tell you why things are happening, or he will lead you to where you will be able to hear why things are happening. He will also tell you what you must do to overcome. Commitment brings manifestation of his promises by opening your eyes to secret of secrets. Stand on your feet, everyone.